Remember, the key to success is working hard. For our country, we must have regard. Forget all your differences, let we start to build. And onward to progress we surely will. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us work hand in hand.
Come, let us work hand in hand, excuse me, to build a better nation. Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique belong to all of us, and we have a duty to make it better, to improve it, to enhance it. So come, let us build, let us transform this place we call home. I want to welcome you to the hub. Again, we have a unique moment in time to talk, to discuss. That's the beautiful thing about technology and about the program generally. It is to foster a dialogue, a conversation, to cause you to think further, to think deeper. I want to encourage those on Facebook and YouTube to please share the live. Sharing is caring. So take some time and share the live. As I said this morning, it was my intention to come back on the program Monday, but I had to come on earlier just to lend some clarity, just to reassure a number of people that the misinformation being disseminated by the opposition forces, it is indeed misinformation, disinformation, and it was meant to create panic. It was meant to create mischief because we just came from a very successful carnival or Spice Mass 2025. And so far, everything, that the government does has been very successful. It could be local events, it could be regional events that they host or organize, or international events. They have all been very successful. So I return to speak about the misinformation that's out there, but also to commend the Spice Mass Corporation, to commend the Royal Grenada Police Force, to commend the doctors, the nurses at the General Hospital and so on, to commend the sanitation workers who clean the streets, and to applaud all the people who made Spice Mass successful. The people who traveled from overseas to come and be a part of the carnival, to play mass, to attend events. Take a bow. Take a bow. Spice Mass 2025 was very, very successful. It was peaceful and successful overall. I want to say, as I did this morning, not everybody who's saying they love Grenada. Not everybody who have a podcast or speaking on behalf of the opposition forces indeed love Grenada, because there are things that shouldn't be about NNP and NDC, but instead about the country. Because you want the country to prosper. You want Grenada to develop. You want opportunities to come to Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. And if in your wisdom you believe by you saying certain things would damage the good name of this country, then you should not say it. Then you should not push that agenda. The NNP has been very, very negative in the last 3 years and months. Extremely, extremely negative. They have nothing good to say about anything in the country. Don't matter what it is. The bi-monthly salary payment, they were very negative where that is concerned. They had all kinds of bad things to say about that particular rollout. Today, if you listen to working Grenadians, and in particular those with government, they will tell you they are very happy that the government of Grenada, that the NDC administration introduced bi-monthly salary payments. Because if the bi-monthly salary payment wasn't in place, then you know people would be screaming aloud after the carnival, because they have to wait until the 31st, or in this case, the 29th of August to be paid. But the bi-monthly salary payment guarantees that worker a salary tomorrow, today, because some people got paid today, and tomorrow. Excuse me. And there are some who will get on Monday. Wow. So the bi-monthly salary payment was a good thing. And come the 29th again, they get the other half. So anyhow you look at it, it's a good thing. But the NNP criticize it because the NNP has no vision. They cannot see down the road. They like to criticize so much that something as good as the bi-monthly salary payment, they criticize it, said it's not feasible, it can't work, it would impact negatively the economy. All right? But at the end of the day, workers are benefiting from it as we speak. So kudos to the NDC administration. Then you have the Free Tuition Initiative. August, because TAMCC would open before the secondary and primary schools. So a number of young men, young women, students, many of them who graduated from secondary school, they are now moving to TAMCC or NULO. Their mother or father or parents don't have to worry about where they would get that $810 to send them to college. to send them to NULO to learn a skill, because the government is paying that tuition for them. And not for just 1 year, but for 2 years and 3 years. But the NNP criticized that too. They had all kinds of stuff to say about the free tuition initiative or program. Also, the back to school uniform and, I think the name of the program is School and Uniform Supplies Program. The back to school voucher program. They changed the name, but it's really the same thing. Where parents who can't afford would get some vouchers and they would go to different vendors or suppliers or stores and get the vests, get the shorts, get the skirts, get the pants, get the socks, get the shoes, get the bags. It's back to school. So all these different initiatives, the NNP has always condemned it and criticized it. The free hot meal program, where the kids, the students get a hot meal, right? They're going to receive a hot meal. Hello? Hello? Yeah, hey, Gordon, how you doing? You called me at the wrong time. I'm on the program. I'll call you back. All right, one love. Yeah, no problem. Yes, so the free hot meal program, that initiative, again, it's one rolled out by the NDC administration. Hey, Dennis Isaac, how you doing, my brother? It's always a pleasure seeing you. All right, and I hope you're enjoying it here in Grenada. So you have students whose parents had to find $3 every day. You're talking about $15 a week or $5 a week for those in primary school. Some of the parents, they have 2 and 3 children attending school at the same time. So you're talking about, for 2 students at secondary level, it's about $30 per week just for a hot meal. The government decided they don't have to pay. The parents don't have to pay. The government will supply the schools system so that they can provide a free hot meal for the students on a daily basis. It's not a perfect program. In fact, the NNP would criticize the program, but they would not come up with any initiative to help a school in their constituency. So they would not go around, speak to the farmers, because some of the farmers, they would have access to, other farmers, and they would know that there's a lot of wastage on those different farms or plots or garden, as we call it. And even backyard, there are some house owners or home owners or neighbors who have a lot of avocado, for example, a lot of citrus, lime, gospo, a lot of provision. I mean, excess. They can't use the whole bunch. They can't use all that's on the tree. So if you coordinate the thing right and you work with the people who live close to the schools or who have farms and that kind of thing, you might just be able to get some supplies for that school or 2 schools. But the NNP will not take any initiative. But they're condemning the program. They have all kind of bad things to say about the program. But when it comes to them taking some initiative, maybe speaking to the fishermen, to get, because when Jackson season in season, when fishing season in season, I'm saying the NNP very good at condemning, criticizing, having all kinds of bad things to say about the government, but they're not coming up with any new initiative or anything, any plan, any program, nothing to help. So time and time again, the NDC has proven that they have vision and that they care. The school bus program, they piloted that program and they would be rolling it out in a big way come September. Again, making sure that the kids or students can reach home safely, can reach to school safely, and reach back home safely. So there's a number of initiatives that the NNP had all kind of bad things to say about, all kind of nasty things to say about it. But it has shown all of us that they were very good initiatives, and they continue to be. Folks, I was very happy when the government put out a statement today so that the public could be more informed about this announcement made by the United States. Because there were a number of people who were concerned because they heard from the opposition all kinds of stuff, negative things. So the government put out this statement today. The government of Grenada has taken note of the recent press statement issued by the United States Department of State. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs is actively engaged with the authorities of the United States through established diplomatic channels in addressing this matter. We assure the people of Grenada that your government is attending to this situation with the utmost responsibility and in the best interest of our nation. We urge the public to be guided by official information issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as we will provide further updates as appropriate. So that's good. All right? That's very good that they put out that statement, because I played this morning a piece from the opposition forces. We heard from Sheldon Scott, and he's the host of the NNP's main program. I think the name is Talking something, right? Is the main program of the NNP. And when I heard the guy rope in Mount Sinai Hospital in all of this, I became very concerned.
When asked, the Prime Minister on his program, when he was asked the question of if Mount Sinai, for instance, could operate in Grenada without having the okay of the US government to do so, he said he doesn't know that is a question for Mount Sinai, but I'm pretty sure he go rush to find out right now, because Mount Sinai, is a US-based company. They ain't based in Britain. They ain't based in Canada. And they're not based in Grenada. They're based in the United States. And as such, they can face sanctions. Our Prime Minister, our government decided that they are going to hire Mount Sinai to run the Grenadian healthcare system, various aspects of the Grenadian healthcare system. They signed a contract to pay these people millions of dollars a year. And they did not understand, because maybe if they had asked a question, even Jukutu me could have told them that, hey, The US has sanctions, and you have significant numbers of Cubans in your healthcare system. When you check the listing of the doctors that are operating in Grenada, the licensed doctors operating in Grenada, a significant portion of them are of Cuban origin. And we're not speaking about those that were just trained in Cuba. We're speaking about the fact that the majority of these individuals, that they are actually Cuban. Yeah, they are actually Cuban. So we found ourselves with the situation now that the government officials, they are going to have restrictions placed on them. Some of them may lose their visas. And again, it's not just the government officials. It's their wife or husband. It's their children. It might even extend to their parents. Yeah?
You know, folks, this guy knows what he's doing, huh? Don't fool yourself. He knows that this announcement from the United States, it speaks to visa restrictions, right, on African, Caribbean, Latin America, and so on. Couple countries that the United States of America said, well, look, the whole program that Cuba has, where doctors and nurses are working in different countries and so on, that this is forced labor or something exploitation, is what they're claiming. But this guy knows by saying these things and tying Mount Sinai, and it will create a stir in the minds of people. Because this has nothing to do with Mount Sinai Hospital assisting Grenada or having an agreement with Grenada to improve Grenada's healthcare system. Mount Sinai Hospital is a private hospital. This is not a government entity in the United States. It's a private hospital. They're one of the best in the world. So the government of Grenada signed an agreement with them to help Grenada improve its healthcare system and also help with the new hospital, teaching hospital facility, or medical village. You see? So with this announcement, then this guy ties in Mount Sinai to all of this.
When asked, the Prime Minister on his program, when he was asked the question of if Mount Sinai, for instance, could operate in Grenada without having the okay of the US government to do so, he said he doesn't know that is a question for Mount Sinai, but I'm pretty sure he go rush to find out right now, because Mount Sinai, yeah, is a US based company. They ain't based in Britain, they ain't based in Canada, and they're not based in Grenada. They're based in the United States, and as such, they can face sanctions.
Sanctions, so what? What they facing sanctions for? You see, these guys, look, this guy's on a platform. He's speaking for the main opposition party. He's on a program of the main opposition party. Face sanction for what? We have American companies operating right here in Grenada, functioning, doing work right here in Grenada. So I don't understand the connection. And I don't know if you understand the connection, the folks who are viewing and listening. But you see, these guys are so bad-minded in my belief. They just want bad for Grenada, in my belief. Because the guy is talking about sanction. All that the United States government announced is visa restriction for some government officials. Could be PSAs, could be a minister, it could be, some nurse, some doctor. That is who is connected to Cuba, the Cuban doctors and nurses and so on. That is all the government of the United States announced. Not sanctions, nothing of that sort. And it has nothing to do with Mount Sinai. How Mount Sinai Hospital comes all into this? You know why? The NNP, they are upset, they vex, they blew that the NDC administration was able to secure only recently from the Afro Exim Bank, right? African Bank, 668 or so million EC, 250 million US to co-finance, meaning that they're co-financing the project. But the NNP is vexed because the NNP, they were out there saying, well, where they go get money? Where they go get the money to build the hospital and to build this medical village and medical city? Where they go get the money? All of a sudden, they heard the president of the bank announce that the bank will be co-financing the project. And you're talking about 250 million US. That's about 668 or so million EC. That's a lot of money. But Mount Sinai is also involved in this particular project and involved in the hospital improvement initiative, right? So that is why all of a sudden the announcement came out with doctors, nurses from Cuba and America imposing visa restrictions on government officials who are close to the program dealing with Cuban nurses and doctors and so on. The guy then decides to tie Mount Sinai in all of this stupidness. And he believes that he's making sense.
Our prime minister, our government decided that they are going to hire Mount Sinai to run the Grenadian healthcare system, various aspects of the Grenadian healthcare system. They signed a contract to pay these people millions of dollars a year. And they did not understand, because maybe if they had asked a question, even Jukutu me could have told them that, hey, the US has sanctions and you have significant numbers of Cubans in your healthcare system. When you check the listing of the doctors that are operating in Grenada, the licensed doctors operating in Grenada, a significant portion of them are of Cuban origin. And we're not speaking about those that were just trained in Cuba. We're speaking about the fact that the majority of these individuals, that they are actually Cuban.
Yeah, and folks, the United States government doesn't have a problem with Cuban doctors or nurses. The accusation is that these nurses and doctors are paid through government to government, meaning if you have doctors, nurses here functioning, they're saying that the government here pays the Cuban government for these doctors and nurses, and they don't get the money directly, or they get very little. That's the claim, right? So it's not that they have a problem with them. The big thing here is that they don't want the government of Cuba to be receiving any money for any government through these doctors and nurses. That's the issue. So they are saying that anybody, any government official, sorry, who is associated with this program with doctors and nurses from Cuba, they will face visa restrictions, visa to access the United States. Right? That's what the thing is. But this guy grabs this thing, and it's really what the opposition has become. They bad-minded. They don't like good for Grenada. So they're waiting for something bad to happen. They want bad news. They don't sleep good when good things come forward, when good news come forward. You know, the opposition has not come forward publicly and praise the government, applaud the government, or give commendation to the government for hosting the Afro-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum here successfully in Grenada. And out of that came two very powerful announcements. One, that the Afro-Exim Bank will be co-financing Project Polaris, new teaching hospital facility and so on, in the amount of 250 million US, 668 million EC. And two, the richest man in Africa, Dangote, and the outgoing president of the Afro-Exim Bank, Professor Benedict Orama, that Dangote and Orama Center for Excellence will be built here in Grenada. Africa richest man could have gone anywhere in Africa or anywhere in the world and announced that he will be building his Center for Excellence. But he chose Grenada, and it worth millions of dollars to build such a facility that would benefit our Grenadian boys and girls, our young men and women. But the opposition, they have become so negative that they just can't see nothing good. They just can't see nothing good. But if they love Grenada, they should be, comfortable with coming out and applaud something that's good. All they do is condemn. All they do is criticize. All they do is talk bad about this country. But I want somebody to explain to me how Mount Sinai reached in all of this. And do you understand what this guy is saying? Because I'm confused. It speaks deeper, though, to their mindset. You never hear them talk nothing good. Only negative, something bad. I've said months and months ago, the NNP, the opposition, they have become so negative that even their supporters are getting upset with them. And ordinary Grenadians who are in the middle, who are not NNP or NBC, they're getting upset with the NNP because they're too negative. All they do is to condemn, complain, criticize. That's all they do. Negative. You and hear them commend the government on starting the St. David Catholic Secondary School. Right? What? 40 point something million dollars? You any of them come out and compliment, applaud the government for starting the St. Andrew Anglican Primary School. I think it's 30 something point something million dollars. You any of them come out and commend or applaud the government on starting the Grenada Christian Academy School. What 30 something or 40 something million dollars. You any hear them come out and applaud the government on expanding the school for the deaf and other schools that have been refurbished or expanded. You don't hear them, nothing positive. You don't hear it from them. But folks, I want to give you the opportunity to speak. If you want to chime in, if you want to speak on what this guy said or anything else, maybe you enjoyed Carnival, it was safe, it was good, you enjoyed that, you can speak. The number is 538-0933. 538-0933. You're free to speak. You can call me and you will be live. 538-0933. It's an open line, an open opportunity for you to vent. All right? I mean, I am saying you want to govern, you want to come back in power, but you're using the same playbook. The same playbook you used between 2008 to 2013. You condemn, you criticize, but during that time, it was just you. You were just controlling the entire airways. Nearly all the radio programs you controlled. Social media, and not many people had access to the internet. Not many people had their cell phones and they were not connected. So you use radio and you bombard the airways with radio. But now I am here and other programs like this one exist, and you have social media, you have internet access to information on the go. So you can't succeed using the same playbook. You believe that you would, but it's not possible. But all you do is condemn, all you do is criticize, all you do is to talk bad about our country. Good evening, caller.
Good evening, Cam.
Hi, good evening. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm so happy that our carnival was really
Yeah, you have to
peaceful.
speak. You have to speak aloud. I don't know if you're using a cell phone and you're not using the speaker or using the speaker. You're not very clear.
I'm on my house phone.
Right, so it's better now.
That okay. Yes, so I'm saying I'm happy that the carnival went peaceful, and that Grenadians are starting to understand that we are moving forward. But I've been listening to you this morning and again tonight. The NNP party is not about forward movement in Grenada. So I want to say that they need to educate themselves, because this thing that they're spouting is a situation where America wants to pressure Cuba even more, because they have had sanctions on Cuba for so long, strangling the same people that I think they so care about now. The opposition does not understand, or they're pretending they don't understand just to make problems for Grenada. And I hope Grenadians are listening and learning that this is not about loving Grenada. This is just to put the government down, because that is the intention. You play Sheldon now, but you should hear Andre Donald in St. Patrick's, who is even getting on more ignorant of this. So Grenadians must listen and try to make sense for themselves. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much there, caller. Thank you very much. Again, the number 538-0933. 538-0933. Yeah, it's they come across as unpatriotic every time, and the hate is too much. It's not just jealousy anymore, it's hatred. They just hate this government and they hate this country so much. But they pretend, they make you believe that they genuine or they sincere. Because a lot of people are going to fall for their nonsense. But I'm saying, if you love this country, see how these guys and them operating and saying certain things? They can never genuinely love Grenada and be saying those things and being so hateful and so bitter and so sour. But again, it's an open opportunity, folks, for you to vent, for you to talk. If you want to, you can. The number again is 538-0933. 538-0933.
Now the election back and I'll die away. In short, this is what I have to say. Let us forget spites and grudges and concentrate.
And look, even if they are desperate for power, because that is what they want, they made it very clear. All they want is power. But even if you want power, you want to inherit a Grenada that's in a good position, a good place in terms of development, in terms of opportunity and so on for our people. You can't want the country to be flat on its face, where you want bad things to befall the country so much that you don't even care how you get it, how it's terrible. It's terrible. But all they want is power. And they don't care what state, what situation Grenada is in. But little do they know, Grenadians are smarter. Grenadians are more sensible. And they follow what's going on. So these things are not connecting with the ordinary people in Grenada. It's not. They're not able to connect with our people, because if you listen to people, if you are on the ground and you listen to people, they want good for Grenada. They want to hear something good for Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. Folks, it's an open line. The number is 538-0933.
Come, let us sit and try to relate. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come, let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come, my brother, come, my sister, and let us build a nation together. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Remember, the key to success is working hard. For our country, we must have regard.
Yes. So if you want to go live, if you want to speak live, you can call 5380933. If you want to call via WhatsApp, add 1473 at the beginning. 1473 5380933. All right. So it's an open opportunity for you to chime in to speak if you want to.
Forget all your differences, let we start to build. And onward to progress we surely will. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together.
Yeah, and you're free to talk about anything, right? You're free to talk about anything. So if you're there and you're listening and you want to communicate, you want to speak, you want to have your say, you want to say something, you can call 5380933. All right. So at this moment, I have 546 people viewing me on Facebook and YouTube, right? But there are people who are listening to me via the radio. So you're free. If you want to call, you can. We still have about 10 minutes left in the program for tonight. You're free to chime in, to have your say. All right? So it's an open opportunity.
My name is Dr. Abigail Noel, and I am the head of department at the Accident and Emergency Department, also known as Casualty. As head of department, I am responsible for coordination, and I'm also responsible for training of staff. Training of staff is to enhance our staff, not just in the medical, but also in personal well-being. We have been working along with Mount Sinai since November. And in that time, we have had such a great experience with the Mount Sinai team. One thing I love about Mount Sinai is their spirit of collaboration. They came in with ideas that we were able to discuss, and we were able to implement them. There are so many processes that they have implemented here, especially in the emergency department, that have transformed our department in real time. One of the things that I would mention is the implementation of ID bands for every patient that comes through the emergency department. So once you get in here, once you're triaged by the triage nurse at the front, you receive an identification band. And as we can imagine, that has decreased patient errors, have decreased errors in identification of patients. Because here in the emergency department, not everyone comes in able to talk or able to give information. So having an identification band on each patient has really helped us improve patient care and decrease errors. Another process that they have implemented is defibrillators on every ward, including the emergency department. Defibrillators basically are those machines that you would see on TV where they shock people. We have those on every ward. We have also started training staff in how to adequately utilize these machines. Thus far, 128 staff members have been trained in defibrillator use, and this includes Grenada and Carrico. Mount Sinai has implemented a huddle system. It is a system that I have had experience in because I had experience working with Mount Sinai in Guyana. The huddle system is basically a small meeting, like a 15-minute meeting with all team members. And when I say all team members, I mean security guards, receptionists, maids, nurses, doctors, everyone who is on duty in the department at the time, drivers, very important. They come in for a mini 15-minute check-in where we discuss any issues to patient flow from the prior shift, and also not just issues, but also compliments, great things that happened on the shift. One of the advantages of huddle that I have seen in our department is that it improves communication between staff members as well as with patients. And also staff members have a sense of confidence. They feel seen, they feel heard, and they understand that their role is important. This transformation means everything to the emergency department and by extension, the health system. They are giving us the tools and the knowledge so that we can accelerate, that we can fix our problems, and then the systemic issues, they would be resolved over time. But we are resolving our issues internally, and I've seen a great improvement, especially in the emergency department, and I expect that we are going to improve even more, and I'm very excited about that.
My name is Liselle Walcott. I'm a staff nurse and presently been a staff nurse at the General Hospital for the past 16 years. At the Infection Control Department, what we do surveillance for communicable diseases. We do surveillance for hospital-acquired infections. We do outbreak investigations related to our hospital-acquired infections. So any issues we have, we would investigate it, find out the cause, and we would do our interventions, recommendations and interventions to all relevant departments. Thus far, with Mount Sinai, we have looked at hand hygiene. We are looking at ways of improving hand hygiene, especially when it comes to compliance among all staff. Hand hygiene has been proven to be one of the most important practice you could do to break the chain of infection, thus reduce.
Right, so we have somebody on the line. Good evening.
Hello, good evening, Cam Jones. How are you?
I'm good, I'm fine.
And to all the listeners and viewers, well, can't see me, but at the same time, they're hearing. Yes, I am just calling to say, I am very much grateful and happy to know that finally, after how many years, 23 and a half years, that Grenada's got a good prime minister and a good team that is going to bring it forward. That is the second phase of the Maurice Bishop era, to say that. Progressive, developing, and forward moving. We have to understand that there are a lot of people who don't want good for others. And I would definitely say that the good people of Grenada have suffered long enough, and a drastic change has been made. The 2022 election has been a very, very great shift, not only in terms of election and humanistic, but it's been in very spiritual way. And as it's been said, those who have eyes to see, let them see. Who's got ears to hear, let them hear. In light of all that is happening, this is a place where Grenada was supposed to be a long time ago. And when, people are talking about monies and monies and monies, whether it's a loan at this point in time or grants or whatever it is, the fact remains is that we have to look at the 400 million that went down the drain. Well, not really went down the drain, but which was deals made, and the head of the party then, he got his 91 million. They call it 19, and that was a big rip-off there for Grenada. So the 250 million they're bickering about to say how they're gonna pay back and all this foolishness. No, the fact remains is that no. Let's look at the 420 million that was, stolen from the Grenadian people, taxpayers' money. We got to be very much in depth of how we look at things. We are moving forward, and we cannot allow negativity and negative people to take that stand. And there is a trend in terms of in position. There are a lot of people, negative people in position, holding positions, and they continue to dish out negativity and to look to disrupt positive happening and development. We got to be very careful with that, and especially when it comes to the youth. And I can say, and that's the people that can see and knows what's really happening and embrace and appreciate and embracing the state we're in now and the position, they would know that the youths are not stupid as we thought they always were. Yeah. So, I'm going to say kudos to the government. The Prime Minister is doing a great job, and I sure hope and pray that they stay together as a team and do the best and put Grenada where it's supposed to be. Because a long time Grenada, I remember one time Grenada was the gem of the Caribbean in every aspect, economically and otherwise. But we know that a lot of people tend to forget that Grenada was on the blacklist, in that era with the NNP regime. They fail to remember that, and it's really sad to know that our memory, we put our memory to be so shallow, especially when it comes to remembering where we came from and where we're going and what is good and what is not good. It's a real serious thing, and we have to be vigilant about it. And don't let negativity take roots again, as it did for 23 and a half years.
All right. Thank you.
So thank you very much. And I got to say to all the positive people who want to see good happen, let's stand together, let's support and build Grenada and make it a place it's supposed to be. And God bless us.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dequota. Thank you very much indeed. All right.
Reducing infections, transmitting from one patient to another or from staff to patients. Working along with Mount Sinai, I foresee that it will be a very good thing for us, especially working with our hand hygiene campaign that is going on now. They are looking into the products that we use, the practices that we do to find out any loopholes, any gaps that exist, we're going to address it. And going forward, we'll be able to achieve a very high level of compliance amongst our staff. So high compliance is relatable to good care being delivered and safety across the board for everyone. I love being a nurse because it is challenging. I like helping people, but from an infection control standpoint, I am fascinated by bacteria, unfortunately. There are so many avenues, there are so many things. And in my opinion, I always say, being a nurse reminds you of God. Life is very tangible. You are reminded of that aspect, and then you are also reminded of the fact that you are making a difference. The simple things you do make a big difference in the outcome of a patient care for the relatives and everyone involved. So it is very rewarding, but it keeps you grounded because it's like God is still God. I'm looking forward to the new things they would bring on board for us. They have a lot to offer. And from my department, I'm eager to learn everything that they have to give and to teach and to share. The methods have been proven, so we could only go up from here.
Right. Thank you very much there. So, folks, we're going to pull on the curtain at this point in time. Take it care and